Blue 22.
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
I heard that on your end. It popped up on YouTube, huh?
Yeah.
It's Shane and the Bry Man here. I am Shane. You can find me on Twitter at @HornersFinkle.
Oh, that's it. I'm
Yeah.
the Bry Man. You can find me on Twitter at _Bry_man.
And you can find the show, of course, at Shane and Bry Man on Twitter. You can also find it on Facebook at facebook.com/Shane and the Bry Man. So anyway, we had a busy week. Kinda, sorta, kinda. I'm sure the Bry Man broke a lot of stuff in his house because the Yankees, after we had just talked about last week how Garrett Cole went out, and I'll put this in real quick because even though they don't deserve it, I will put this clip on.
The state of the Yankees.
Because I do want to talk about them briefly. Real briefly. Not long ago. Like literally less than a minute. And that is, after we had just kind of talked about how they had an easy schedule coming up, they had the Indians, they had, the Rangers coming up, and they haven't got the Rangers yet, but they had the Indians, who, although they were in second place, they were a sub 500 team, which should be a relatively easy game. They also had Garrett Cole pitching, which we said, Garrett Cole, potential Cy Young winner. He's a beast. He's been good for them all year. Definitely the MVP of the team, probably. Then he comes out and throws up a stinker just to show us that maybe he's not that guy. But I will say small sample size, but still, these are the games that you have to win. Down the stretch, fighting for playoffs, they are the games that you have to win. You can't just rely on Nestor Cortez all the time.
Uncle Nestor.
Yes. But
Nasty Nestor.
I do love Nestor, but really,
we all
time to
love
step
him.
on the gas. Time to step on the gas. Now, that's pretty much it for me with the Yankees, but I also do want to kind of throw, if we dive into the football a little bit, and we will throw the segment on there about football because we're done. I kind of done with the Yankees. But I do want to say, if we get into in football, because we want to recap last week a little bit, we don't want to get into it a ton. Again, it's in the past, but I do want to get into it a little bit, and that is the Bills versus the Dolphins. We both predicted the Buffalo Bills to win. Buffalo Bills obviously being my team, Dolphins being his team. And unfortunately for the Bry Man, the Dolphins did not show up to play at all. Very sloppy. There were lots of fumbles. And the one thing that I always been talking about Tua is, one, I'm not 100% sold on his skill set, but two things that I've brought up in the past were health. Health is an issue. And he was out after a handful of snaps, basically, with a rib injury and likely going to miss some time. How much, we don't know. They're supposed to be getting MRIs today, I believe. So we'll see. But that is kind of my issue. Obviously, the Bills trounced the Dolphins, and this is the second time in a row, and I think they've won 3 or 4 in a row against the Dolphins. It's been
8 out of 9.
8 out of 9. So it's been, they've been trouncing them quite badly. But that's all I really wanted to kind of mention is my Bills didn't even play that great, particularly on offense, but they still destroyed the Dolphins. And I think Brissett just wasn't the guy for them yesterday. He has shown some magic at times for other teams, but I don't know. Quarterback seems to be an issue for you guys, but I do want to hear all your opinion on everything. So I'm going to say, we had to get like a timer and an explosion or something that's like, din, 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 and then let the Bry Man go. So let's just pretend that just happened. And here you go, Bry Man. Let's see what you have to say about this past weekend with the Yankees and the Dolphins, two of your favorite teams in general. Yankees obviously being the number 1, Dolphins being probably a close 2.
Number 2.
Yeah, number 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you're a big Spurs fan, but you've got a lot of championships to hang your hat on
Spurs,
there.
Blackhawks.
Yeah, you got a lot of championships.
Been very fortunate. I've
Oh, yeah.
only had one that's eluded me in my entire life, and it's on my hat. So I want to give a little history lesson here.
Yes.
I want to take you back,
Please,
to when we were just children, really. Back to October 8th, 1995.
Wow.
Now, I know you're somewhat familiar with this, the term anyway. The phrase that I coined that day called Black Sunday. Now, just to fill you in on what Black Sunday is.
Yeah.
Black Sunday is, for me, as a sports fan, the original Black Sunday is probably the worst sports day of my life.
Okay.
And nothing has really come close. There have been Black Sundays since then. But in the moment I recall them, but none of them stood out to me quite as much as yesterday did. Yesterday is probably the worst Black Sunday since the original. Now, what is Black Sunday? So Black Sunday is basically all of your teams playing on the same day and everything just going bad. That not just losing, I mean, in humiliating, awful style. Now, on October 8th, 1995, here's how that day started. That afternoon, the then 4-0 Miami Dolphins were up big on the Indianapolis Colts in a game that would have had them go 5. They would have been 5-0 in complete and total control of the AFC East, because actually at the time the Colts were still in the AFC East too. That was a divisional game. At the time, that would have put the Dolphins in absolute cruise control. They had to go. They were up pretty big in that game, I believe. Went to overtime, lost to the Colts. Later that night, the Yankees in Game 5 of the division series lost to the Seattle Mariners and were sent home. And we all, if you're a Yankee fan,
oh, Donnie Baseball, how couldn't you? Come on,
the end of Don Mattingly's career. You remember Ken Griffey Jr. sliding into home plate with the winning run, raising his arms up high in the air, Seattle going completely ballistic, and the Yankees were sent home. Now, things were better, obviously, especially for the Yankees the next year, because they went on to win the World Series, the first of what would be 4 in the dynasty and 5 overall in our lifetime. So it wasn't necessarily a precursor of things to come, but in the vacuum of the moment that it was, that day lives in infamy for me. And I coined that day Black Sunday. And ever since then, my brother and I, when we have conversations about Sundays when football season starts, we always talk about trying to avoid the Black Sundays. Yesterday, and it took only 1 week of this 2 weeks, I should say, of this NFL season to not only get one, but to get a doozy of a Black Sunday. I mean, again, I'm going to call yesterday's Black Sunday the second worst in my lifetime after the original.
Wow.
Nothing will top the original, because the original, well, first of all, it's the original. And also the Yankees were eliminated from the playoffs. So a very different story. And it was still relatively early in the Dolphins season where they could recover. You think, well, they started 4-0. So it was really just one loss, but it was a loss that they should not have had. And it set the stage, that Dolphins loss, for 3 losses in a row. That was the first of 3 losses in a row, and the Dolphins were just not the same, actually, after that loss. So that's why, in hindsight, that Black Sunday lives in infamy. Now, yesterday, when you go into yesterday thinking, okay, on the Yankee side of it, the Yankees have, at the very least, even though they've disappointed us a lot this season, they have generally done a good job of winning 2 out of 3 games, winning series, right?
Sure.
At least teasing you enough with the idea that they're going to be able to come through and they're going to win a game when they need to win it. And yesterday was absolutely one of those games, because you just feel like, okay, Garrett Cole's on the mound. This is a game. He's going to step up. He'll shut them down. He'll give up 1, maybe 2 runs over 7 or 8 innings, and the Yankees will, win 5-2, 6-2, whatever, something like that. Well, it took one batter in that game for me to have my Bob Uecker Major League 2 oh shit moment. As soon as he plunks the first guy, and I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna have one. And within moments of that, Tua Tagovailoa gets hit on the first play of the game, the first snap of the game. He drops back, boom, corner blitz, gets sacked. Within moments of that, he's out of the game with a rib injury because the Dolphins' offensive line is top 5 worst in the league, if not top 2 or 3 worst.
It didn't do well yesterday. No. The quarterback was under a lot of pressure.
It was one of those days yesterday where it just didn't take long for me to realize this is going to be a Black Sunday. You looked at the scoreboards in both the Red Sox and Blue Jays games, and like most good teams, the Red Sox and Blue Jays were taking care of business. And the Red Sox actually got down in the game. They were up, and then late, the Orioles came back, and then boom, immediately the Red Sox did Red Sox things, and they scored 3 more runs to take the lead, and they never looked back. And the Blue Jays were in complete control of the Twins from the get-go.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound overly dramatic, but that's what I do. I saw yesterday 2 seasons end in one day. The Yankee season for sure. That is a done deal. You could stick a fork in them. The New York Yankees are not going to the playoffs. Frankly, I don't even want them in the playoffs. The Blue Jays deserve it. They stormed back. They went into New York and swept, and actually the season was really over then. But if you wanted to call, let's say that was the funeral, you could call yesterday the burial, because that's what happened yesterday. You could put a fork in that team. They have, and I have said it all year about them, and I will continue to say it, they're a bunch of gutless, heartless turds. That's all they are. That's a gutless team over there. They are the Glass Joe of baseball teams. One rock shot to the jaw, and they are done. That's just who they are. They've been that all year. They teased you this year when they had that nice little stretch of 33-11 and they won 13 in a row, and you were thinking, okay, maybe they finally found themselves, right? Rizzo and Gallo, although they had not hit the cover off the ball, had infused this team with some kind of energy. It sent a message to the clubhouse, hey, we have not abandoned you. We brought in some help. Here's the cavalry. Go get it. And for a while, it looked like the Yankees had responded to that. But then they went right back to being that team that we should have suspected they were going to be all along, because there was a plenty large enough sample size through the first 3 months of the season that we should have never fallen for that. We should have never allowed it to seep into our heads as Yankee fans that 33-11 was nothing more than a mirage, an oasis in the middle of the desert. It was not real. And it wasn't real because they've proven now in the past 20 some odd games that it wasn't real. That it was really just a run. They went on a little run. They went on a little streak where they looked unstoppable. And then they were in Oakland. They had won the first 2 games. They lose game 3. And as soon as they lost that game, that was it. It was like you knocked them right off their rocker. They lost that, and then they lost the next game to Oakland, and then they lost 2 out of 3 to the Angels, and we were off to the races, except in the other direction. And their season is done. Let's not belabor that anymore. They're done. They're done. The Jays and the Red Sox now have, I don't know what it is, 1.5 and 2.5 game leads respectively on the wild card. They're in control. The Yankees, the Oakland is actually, I think, closer to the Yankees now than the Yankees are to the Blue Jays, the Red Sox. It's over. It's over. There's nothing that's going to happen over these next couple weeks that's going to change that.
I mean, they have to go in and beat those teams.
They would have to beat those teams, which they're not going to do that. That's not going to happen.
They have to sweep the Rangers.
Yes, but that's not going to happen.
And they
might lose 2 or 3 to the
and
Rangers.
They have to beat those teams each.
Like
at least win the series.
In their parks, no less. Well, maybe the Toronto one is. I don't know. I don't remember. No, actually, I think the Toronto one is in Toronto. Yeah, it's not going to happen. They're not going to go to They're going to go to Fenway and they're going to get mauled. They're going to get mauled by both of those teams. They might get swept by both of those teams. And then Tampa, who really, Tampa will probably have not much to play for, but they're going to.
So they're at home against the Rangers, and then they go away for the Sox, and then they're away for the Blue Jays, and then they're back home for the Rays.
For the Rays, yeah. But yesterday you saw the burial. You did. It was over. Garrett Cole was their only chance to keep them afloat, and he got rocked.
I was like,
rocked.
I was like talking to you before the show. I'm like, Garrett Cole pitched yesterday, right? And he just got like bombed. It was like, was that yesterday was 11-1? Because the Indians scored 11 on him 2 days in a row. Like, it's horrible.
So now let's move to the Dolphins. Now you're going to say, hold on a second. They're 1-1. They're actually tied for the division lead. How are you going to sit here and say that they're done? Well, it's pretty simple. If you're the Dolphins, okay, and you saw what you saw yesterday with that offensive line, which is very aptly named because they are offensive in every single way imaginable. That group is one of the worst constructed groups I have ever seen in football. In my 40 some odd years of, well, let's say 30 plus some odd years of watching football. That's the worst offensive line I think maybe I've ever seen in an individual game. I have never seen two quarterbacks under more duress running for their lives on the run than I saw yesterday with Tua Tagovailoa and Jacoby Brissett. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, that offensive line can only be described as a sieve. Just pressure pouring in up the middle, on the edges, from the corner blitzes, nobody picking up blitzes. It was just like a turnstile but not even with that much resistance. I put up a tweet last night. You know, you ever seen the gif of it's like the security guard, and the people are coming into the stadium and the security guard is checking them and all he does is he just does this, but he doesn't actually even physically touch them.
Yeah.
It's just this like fat guy.
It's Reiki.
It's just this big old fat dude who you can tell like this is just something he does on like the weekends, right? Mm-hmm. And the people are coming in for the security check, and he doesn't even touch them. There's no patting down. He just puts his hands over the arms and on the side of them.
It's Reiki. It's
and then they just move on. Yeah, no contact. That was the Dolphins' offensive line yesterday. Zero contact. They couldn't stop or touch anyone, and it took one play in that game for me to realize that game was over. So I was sitting there and I was just as excited as I was for week one, right? First snap, Dolphins on offense. I'm standing in front of the TV, hands on my knees, just like I was week one with the Patriots. I'm like, I am ready. I'm fired up today. It's a new day. You know, this is not going to be the same old Dolphins anymore. Mm-hmm. And the first play, Tua gets rocked by that corner blitz, and I just slunk over to my bed, sat in my bed, and for the next 3 hours just watched that debacle. I shouldn't say that. I tuned out basically after the first drive after the halftime when the Bills really, really put the nail in the coffin at 21-0. And I say to you that I watched two seasons end yesterday because, well, the Yankees, that's done. But the Dolphins, you're thinking, again, this is a one-on-one team. Is it a bit early to be tossing them in the grave?
Especially if you don't know how long Tua is going to be out. I mean, that's their starting guy. So he's going to be, if they can't.
Here's the point.
Now you have to win with a backup with a Band-Aid.
Point. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care if the fucking ghost of Johnny Unitas is their quarterback going forward. They're not going to win with that offensive line. You cannot win with an offensive line like that.
It's tough to tackle a ghost, bro.
You can go, seeing ghosts, which, not only Sam Darnold, but I think Zach Wilson was seeing ghosts yesterday too. At least Kyle Van Noy was saying that on Twitter while he was out injured. But if you're the Miami Dolphins, there's nothing you can really do at this point in the season to shore up that offensive line. You could try to make a trade, but who's going to be selling offensive linemen right now? Tell me where you're getting. Tell me this isn't like the baseball trade deadline where you can bring in cavalry.
Yeah, no, they would have to do something in free agency. I mean,
that's free agency. Which this front office of Chris Greer And I'm going to throw Brian Flores in there too, because by all accounts, Brian Flores is just as involved with the Dolphins front office decisions on personnel as Chris Grier. They view themselves as a team. Well, that's fine. If you want to view yourselves as a team, then you're going to be treated as a team. And right now, both of them need to be on the hot seat, because I know one thing about Stephen Ross, the Dolphins owner and billionaire, is that he is 80 years old, and that guy wants one thing before he gets put 6 feet under in a briar patch, and that's to have a championship. He has made that very clear, because it's no secret he wants Deshaun Watson in like the worst way. He wants Deshaun Watson so bad. It's
sell your soul a bit to do that right now.
And not a bit. You have to completely sell your soul. And I can tell you right now, I want nothing to do with Deshaun. I don't care how bad this year gets. I don't care how many times Tua gets knocked on his ass.
It's like Trevor Bauer situation right now.
Right. Why would you want to touch him? First of all, he could be put on the commissioner's exempt list at any moment. The second the Texans decide to play him, Goodell could step right in and say, nope, not happening. He's on the exempt list. And the Texans have already made it clear they are not offering any draft pick assurances if they trade away Deshaun Watson.
I've been talking about just to get into like the players and stuff like that. Like I've talked about this with many other people and all that kind of stuff about like, when you're a professional athlete, particularly like a starting player for years, you're making millions and millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the low level guys are still making hundreds of thousands of dollars, but like if you're a continued starter for 5+ years, you're making millions of dollars per year, most likely. How do you get in trouble? Like, why do you not have this bodyguard that you pay $250,000 a year to keep you out of freaking trouble? Like, just stay out of trouble. Like, he can be your guy who drives you when you're drunk. He can be the guy that, calls your Uber. I don't care how you get home. Like, all that kind of stuff. Like, you're having an issue with drugs. Have him punch you in the mouth and take it from you. Like, that's what you need. And you need to have that, not really punch you in the mouth, but you know what I mean? Smack that stuff out of your hand. Yeah. Follow you around. Keep you away from rando, women or men, whatever you're going for. Like,
or just hire one masseuse. You don't need 40 of them. I've never known a guy who, like, this is my biggest problem with Deshaun Watson. More than anything.
He thought he was Tiger Woods.
But why do you need 40 masseuses? I mean, listen, I get variety is the spice of life, right? He obviously likes to change things up a little bit. Yeah. But there are better ways to go about it. And also, that's just a job where, like, you're gonna be accused of something, man. Yeah. It's gonna get rapey, and like, he's an idiot. But he's apparently a sexual predator, and I want nothing to do with him on my football team. I'm not willing to sell my soul. Certainly,
have your bodyguard in there watching the masseuse give you a massage. Make sure no dingle touching.
I mean, he likes a lot of ass play.
Smack the dingle out of his hand.
Like, these women were very specific about the ass play.
Oh, Jesus.
So he's into some weird shit.
Literally?
Listen, if you have to have 40 masseuses, that right there is a significant red flag. I don't know what else to say. That's a red flag. But anyways, just to put a cap on this rant, I saw 2 seasons end yesterday. The Yankees for sure. I'm pretty sure the Dolphins are done. And here's the thing with the Dolphins too. I'm not saying yesterday was a must win. You didn't actually need to win that game. But what you did need to do yesterday if you're the Dolphins was show up. They didn't even show up.
No, wasn't
they were beat in every phase of the game soundly by, as you pointed out, a Buffalo Bills team that didn't really show up either.
On defense, they did, but not offense. On offense, they were just...
Josh Allen had at best a pedestrian day.
He had like a pick. He like had 1 or 2 picks. They had fumbles, like right. they were.
And he was not sharp.
But the Dolphins' defense is good, so that's what you expected. We both expected a good defensive battle, but eventually the Bills would come out on top. That's what we kind of expected, and that just is not what because the Dolphins' offense just did not show up at all.
I mean, it was. I knew that game was over.
I'm just glad I played the Buffalo Bills defense.
Honestly,
instead of Tampa Bay's defense.
They must have gotten you a lot of points.
Just for the
shutout.
Many points.
It must have been like 20, points. Right? Was it 20?
In the league that I'm in, because it's a higher point league, I got like 35 points.
Oh, that's unreal. Oh, did they have a pick six?
Mhm.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
They had the
I
pick
think they
six
had
plus
one,
the
yeah.
shutout. Yeah, no. No, good move.
Yeah.
It was a good move. Yeah, so there's not really much else to say. It was the worst Black Sunday since the original in 1995. So you are talking almost now. You are talking 2.5 decades later. I have just, boy, I'll tell you, yesterday was one of those days where, as a sports fan, it just makes you question if you want to even go back to watching sports. Like, if you just want to concentrate on something else, because sports just shouldn't stress you. Like, it should actually be one of those things that you
Well,
turn
I mean,
to.
that's what leads to the emotion, right?
But it just,
It leads like, so you have these down hard times and then when you win, you have these,
but you know
the
what though?
elation that follows.
The elite, but those times are few and far between for me now. I haven't had one of those in a long
Yeah,
time.
but you don't really get happy about like any kind of wins.
No, that's not true. When my teams win, you get everything I've got.
During the game, but shortly thereafter, it turns back to, but
you know what? But dude, I'd rather have some of those moments. I shouldn't listen. Phil Mickelson gave me one hell of a moment this year. I will tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
That was not partially because it was so unexpected.
Yeah.
And also just because it really cemented his career as not only a Hall of Famer, which he was already, but it cemented him as just, I mean, you put him in the discussion as a you and I had the discussion, is he a top 5 all-time golfer?
He's the greatest lefty of all time.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's something really to hang your hat on.
Or maybe not top 5. It put him in the top 10 discussion. So
absolutely.
It put him in the top 10.
He can be a top 5 discussion.
I think if he wins a U.S. Open, he will be a top 5.
I don't even think he has to.
But, well, I think he does. But anyways, so that's let's just
because I don't think he's going to. I think
no, I don't either.
Because it's just
the hardest one to win.
It is, and his putting is streaky, so he could. But like, I just think it's very unlikely. It's so like the only ones that he legit has a shot for now are like the Masters and the PGA, are kind of the two that are. Yeah. The British is tough, if he gets some good days that aren't that windy and he can control his driver. Yeah, maybe.
Right. I mean, he's won 2
and then
PGAs,
the US Open.
He's won 3 Masters.
And the US Open, if he's hot, yeah, he could potentially do it if he's hot with his putter and he's sticking his drives. Yeah. But like, anyways, very unlikely.
But don't get me wrong. Like, that was a great moment. And I love Phil.
Yeah.
But it's not the same when one of my actual teams wins. I mean,
right.
that's because there's an entire season's worth of emotions that go into that.
Plus, it's a team.
For a golfer, it's a team. For a golfer, one, like to your point there, it's an individual, but also it's like, okay, it's 4 days. It's
yeah.
And
but it's a team. Like it's a team, so you have like multiple guys getting together. There's more emotion involved. Whereas when it's one player going against a bunch of other players, it's so unlikely. But when it happens, there's you're happy about it. Right. But it's just a little different. It's not like that, and it's not even like the Tiger dominance, like where he was just so dominant for such a and you were just kind of in awe.
Yeah.
Or like the Jack time where he was just like so incredible, like you were just kind of in awe. Like I watched old clips of him on YouTube, and it's just kind of like, holy crap, did that guy hit the most amazing shots at the most like incredibly unpredictable times? Like you were just like, there's no way that's going in, and he makes it. Like just recently, like I don't know when it was, but he was like talking smack to like John Rahm or something like that recently. And like, he just went up and he's like, oh, you can't make this 80-foot putt that has like 37 breaks. He just went up and whacked it and it went in the freaking hole. Like, what the hell? Like, that's like Jack at like 80 years old and he's still doing it. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. It's just, the bottom line is, again, I feel like I saw 2 burials yesterday. I really do. I
can't do that.
The Dolphins.
It's just about hot streaks. Really, when it comes to baseball, it's hot streaks. You got to get hot. They have been kind of middling right now, and they're winning. They're winning one. They're losing one. They're winning one. They're losing one. They're just kind of, which you can't do down the stretch.
No, not down the stretch.
So not they really have to. They have to get hot, and you need those players like DJ Glaber and like a Gio and maybe one other guy to get hot, like Anthony Rizzo, to just start stepping on the gas and like You need those guys because as of right now, Stanton is doing okay, but not great. Judge is doing okay, but not great. Like you need a good handful of guys to kind of just be good and great.
when your ace is on the mound, you need him to step up.
You do, and that was
And
unfortunate. Kluber pitched great the other day, so he pitched like an ace.
And I'm not gonna put this on Garrett Cole, by the way,
Right.
because Garrett Cole has been good this year. He's gonna end up top 5 in Cy Young. Robbie Ray should win, and Robbie Ray will win. So I'm not gonna put this on him. I'm not putting this on Garrett Cole. Yes, we needed him yesterday, and no, he did not come through. But he's the least of their problems, if we're being honest. And listen, my wish list for the Yankees is pretty simple in the offseason. Fire Cashman, fire Boone. How many of those things are going to happen? Maybe one.
Yeah.
Maybe one.
Boone.
Maybe one. And if it is the one, it's going to be Boone.
They obviously
Cashman's not going anywhere.
Right, but if they do that way, then Cashman has to realize that he has to be a little more hands off and he has to let the manager manage because this has not really worked out.
Well, I have said this a million times. I'll say it again. I want Buck Showalter back.
Right.
I've talked about
We've both said
I've talked to you about it. I've talked to my brother about it. My brother's not in the same boat. He's like, he just doesn't know if Buck, he did. I don't think he liked Buck as much as I did. And also
because he's a hard ass.
My thing with Buck is,
and they have a lot of young players that need that right now. Like Glaber needs somebody to be on him, even Judge is too happy-go-lucky. And
he definitely is.
And a little arrogant, I think at times. So
which is weird considering he's not really accomplished anything.
I mean,
he's a good player. He's a good player.
He is a good player.
He's a good player.
He is.
He's not a great
but
player.
you need some of those people like Gardy is like what Buck Showalter is. Like he's kind of a hothead, like in a way of not like Buck is not hot. He'll just come at you verbally and kind of decimate you in a way that you're kind of be like, I need to do better.
I need to respond.
Yeah.
For me, the story with Buck is,
and he's a good brain. He's a good brain. He's got a good baseball brain. Big brain.
For me, yes. For me with Buck, it's twofold. One, what you just mentioned. He'll light a fire under this team.
Right.
But then there's the other part of it for me, which is the story side of it. Because the story with Buck, I think coming back as a Yankee manager is what makes it great.
Yeah.
Because he, to me, has unfinished business with this team. Let's be honest. He was very unceremoniously dumped by this team.
Yeah.
Okay. In 1995.
We love Torrey.
What do you know? This keeps coming back to 1995. Hilarious. I want to hop in a DeLorean. But bottom line
1.12 gigahertz.
I mean, when this shit hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. But I just want to see Buck get another shot.
Yeah.
I want to see Buck get one more chance.
Right.
And I'll tell you, the more that I watch Buck on the post-game shows, this guy still has it. He can still do this. And if you want proof, you want evidence, how about Tony fucking La Russa, who, granted, in my opinion, is the greatest baseball manager of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I'm including guys like Casey Stengel in there too. Okay. And McCarthy. And I mean, Earl Weaver, Sparky Anderson. We're talking about greats. Mm-hmm. And I think Tony La Russa is the greatest of the greats. I've always believed that. And you know what? He's not doing anything to hurt his legacy right now. I can tell you that much, because he's got a team that's barreling towards the playoffs and they could make a World Series. Mm-hmm. They might. I don't know if they will. I mean, I don't know. There's some hot teams in the AL right now. Toronto is just so hot right now. It's hard to. I mean, I don't think they're going to win, but unfortunately, I think fucking Houston's going to get to the World Series. But
let's get into this week's football because we only have a little bit of time left.
All right. We'll do it quick.
Let's get into Thursday night football. Thursday night football, baby. Carolina Panthers versus the Texans. Look, I am a huge fan of Run CMC. Love Christian McCaffrey. I have him on one of my fantasy teams. I expect him to go bananas.
He's healthy.
They are 2-0 to start the year. I expect them to end up 3-0. I just don't have a lot of faith in the Texans just because they are.
Why would you?
They are quarterbackless. So I even though they're 1-1, I just expect them to lose. I think when the NFL was scheduling this, they were hoping that Deshaun would be going up against, Darnold and
Probably.
CMC and all that stuff. But you know what? I think that the Carolina Panthers are going to win this one pretty handily, and I expect the game to end up 28-17 Carolina.
We're kind of close, but by a score off. I've got it at 20-10 Carolina. Yeah, it's not a good. I mean, the Panthers. Hey, listen, you know what? They're playing well in all phases of the game right now. I love what I've seen out of them. When Christian McCaffrey is healthy, he's.
What did you have? 28-10?
No, 20-10.
20-10. Okay.
Yeah, 2-0 to 1-0. When McCaffrey is healthy, it's not even close that he's the best running back in the league. I mean, it's just not even close. And right now they're going well. Sam Darnold's playing well.
Mm-hmm.
I like what I see from.
I think he's a decent quarterback.
I want to see some more Terrace Marshall because I want to have a reason to maybe keep him in one of my leagues if he ends up having a good year. But there's some depth. There's some depth there at wide receiver for for the Panthers. That's a good team. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 20-10, easy win.
Cool. All right, then we have Sunday Night Football, which is a doozy of a matchup. It is the Green Bay Packers versus the San Francisco 49ers. This is another one that's going to be a good game. I mean, I expect Aaron Rodgers to be under a little bit of pressure. I expect that basically what it comes down to is I am going with the quarterback here. And when this happens, I usually end up leaning towards Aaron Rodgers. I just love his talent. I do not like the fact that he hasn't had a great full preseason, syncing up with his team. I assume there's got to be some resentment from his teammates. But you know what happens? All that goes away when you're winning. And I'm hoping that the Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers come away with a win in this game. And
where's this game?
What's that?
Where is it?
Okay. And I am going to expect it to be close. And I have 24-21. The Green Bay Packers.
All right. Well, just to go a little different from you, I'm going to go 28-27 Niners.
Ooh.
I do think for sure Aaron bounces back tonight and gives you maybe a virtuoso kind of Aaron Rodgers performance tonight against a very bad Detroit Lions team. That's the kind of team you get healthy against. So I'll say A-Rod gets healthy tonight and the Packers get healthy tonight.
Yeah.
But then I say they run into a bit of a buzzsaw in week 3 because I think the Niners to me are one of those teams that they are good on both sides of the football and they're healthy. And the only thing I think really holding the Niners back is going to be consistently good quarterback play. I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think at some point you're going to see more of Trey Lance than you will of Jimmy G.
Oh, for sure.
And that's a matter of time. You don't draft a guy like that high to bench him. So eventually his time will come. But even for now, I mean, you can't sit here and say that the Niners don't have one of the better quarterback situations in the league, right? You've got Jimmy G, who's certainly solid. I mean, he's taken a team to a Super Bowl. And you could argue he should have won that Super Bowl. He's taken a team to a Super Bowl, and you've got Trey Lance as your backup, who's the future of the team. So, and the Niners are playing well. They've got plenty of weapons on offense. They've got a solid defense. Bosa's great.
I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers do win and they go 3-0, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like 5-1 after 6 games, they trade Jimmy G.
Maybe.
And try and get something big, like an offensive lineman for Lance or something along those lines just to move forward. Because they need him to play well to get something good. And it's like, do you play for this year or do you play for the next 7-8 years? Because he is not their quarterback of the future.
Yeah. You know what's tough is that,
or do you just run it out the whole season?
Well, I think you have to be careful with that because that division is brutal. I mean, what are they, 7-1 so far? That division, only one loss, I think, which was, and it should have been 8-0 because I think the Seahawks were destroying the Titans yesterday, and they allowed the Titans to come back and win in overtime. Yeah.
Yes.
But the Rams are 2-0, right? Niners are 2-0. And the Cardinals. And the Cardinals are 2-0.
Yeah.
So it's a 7-1 division right now. I mean, you gotta stay in the race.
Right. And
So I don't know.
that's what I mean. Do you play for this year
No,
or do you
I
play
think
for
you
ever?
have to.
Like the last 7 or 8 years?
I mean, I don't know.
Because
It's going to be.
isn't this the end of his?
That's a hell of a-
Isn't it the end
that's
of
a
his
hell of a
contract?
division.
This is his last year, right? His last year in his contract.
Yeah.
So like, do you get something for him or?
Oh, for Garoppolo?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. There might be multiple years left on that. Well, it might, as far as the guaranteed money. Yeah, maybe this year. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyways, I'll tell you what, man. In that division, oh shit, you're gonna have at least 2 good teams left out of the playoffs probably when all is said and done.
Oh yeah. So
bad loss by the Seahawks yesterday too. That's a home game. You're up big on the Titans, who are not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the Titans.
So this year,
you can't allow that team to come back on you like that.
This year, his cap hit is 26 mil. Dead cap 26 mil. And then next year is 27, but dead cap is 1.4.
Yeah, right. So yeah, okay, yeah.
So like, if you're ever gonna get something for this guy, it's going to be this year.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's the tough part. Is like, do you try and capitalize for the future?
I don't know.
For the next several years.
Maybe.
It's tough call.
All right. What's the next game?
Next game is just so happens to be Yo Yeah. We'll be doing Monday Night Football on Mondays from forward. We already did Green Bay and Detroit tonight. Yeah, you like that? Yeah.
Forgot how much I love that scream at the end.
All right, so we got the Bucks versus the Rams.
This
2-2-0 teams.
This is a true game of the week.
And 2 good teams. Matthew Stafford, new quarterback. Tom Brady still doing Tom Brady type things. What do you got? Who do you got?
This is in LA, right? In SoFi? I think it is.
Yes,
because I think the Bucks have played 2
yes,
home games
yep,
already.
Yep.
This is generally how I feel about champions. You need to knock off before I believe that they can be beaten, especially when the Bucks have started off the way they have, with a tough kind of grinded out win over the Cowboys in the game 1, and then just outlasting and then running away from Falcons yesterday. I need to, and the Rams are 2-0, did not play a great game yesterday. I feel like the Bucks are one of those teams that you got to get early before they really settle into their comfort zone. The problem is it looks like they already have, and they are just so good. They're just so good on both sides of the ball. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are, you got to say it, they are like far and away the best team in football. So it's hard for me to pick against them. Should be a fun game. Should be a real back and forth kind of barn burner, up and down the field kind of game. End of the day, I can't pick against the Bucks right now. As good as the Rams have looked, and Matthew Stafford, boy, this just goes to show you, when you get a quarterback out of a bad situation and put him on a good team with really great weapons, a good line, a good defense, look at what he is. It's just, he's a fucking Pro Bowl all-star, man. That's who Matthew Stafford has always been. There were times when I desperately wanted the Dolphins to try to trade for him. Anyways, let's go with 28-24. Yeah, 28-24 Buccaneers over the Rams in beautiful $5 billion SoFi Stadium.
For the Tom Brady Buccaneers. Tampa Bucks.
The Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah. All right. I am going to go a little different here because I do think that the one thing that they haven't really faced, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers haven't really faced a solid defense. And now you could say that the defense for the Rams hasn't really showed up all that much because, points are being scored upon them. But they still have some
got that guy
number 99. They have a lot of guys on that defense that can do amazing things. Yes. So I am going to say that because of that, this is going to be the first bump in the road for the Bucks, but I don't think that, because I don't think they're going undefeated. I do think they're going to probably lose 3 or 4 games in the year.
Yeah. There's 17 games now. They're going to lose a few. Yeah.
They're going to lose some games. And I do feel like this is going to be the first bump in the road, but this is just going to be a learning experience for Tom to be able to be like, this is how we're going to beat them next time. And that's pretty much how it is. That's just how that's going to go. I think that's how Bill Belichick always used to do his New England Patriots early in the year. They would play these tough teams or something like that. They would lose. And then when it came down to the big games, they would win because they worked out all their kinks. They got all the information that they needed to do, whether it was legal or illegal, and they won the game. And Tampa, on the other hand, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do think that they're probably one of my favorites to be the Super Bowl contender. There's a handful of contenders in there, including my Buffalo Bills as a Super Bowl contender. But I think that this game is going to be, the Bucks are going to lose, 1, being away, and 2, because they're playing a defense that can actually get to the quarterback. And that has always been, as it is with every quarterback, has been the thing that usually disrupts greatness. And if they can get to the quarterback, and they can use, Aaron Donald to like really put a lot of pressure on, and they can use Jalen Rose in the background to really get, lock down either Evans, because Antonio Brown is still a solid player, but he's not the same type of player that he was. But with Tom, he could have a big game. But you need somebody to lock down one of those guys, and if you do, great. So I think that the Bucks are going to lose this game. I think that not lose it, but I think the Rams are going to play a little bit better, particularly being at home. So I have the opposite. I have 28-24. Okay. I have the Rams winning, basically because with having Stafford, they're going to be able to hold the ball in the end of the game and run out the clock to where Tom Brady gets no time left. Because if they give him time, even if it's like 30 seconds with no timeouts, he's going to score on you. Like that's just what he does. Yep. So I think with Stafford being the veteran guy, an all-star quarterback, he is going to be able to kind of keep his composure and get the ball, just keep moving it up the field just enough to run out the clock at the end of the game. So I have 28-24, but I have...
Well, I'm glad we went in different directions
the
a
Rams.
little.
Yeah.
That's what makes it interesting for us.
Exciting stuff. All right. We have to do the Three Amigos recast, but it has to be super fast. Like I have to leave in 5 minutes.
Let's just bang through it.
All right. So recasting the Three Amigos, we're gonna have to do. It's unfortunate because I really wanted to talk about this more, and maybe we can at the beginning of the next show. But I really wanted to talk about this a little bit more.
Where do you think you're
going?
So
let's get into this real quick. It's really only 3 people here.
It's 3 people. That's all
that need to be recast. Everybody else are insignificant, even like the main villains, and it's not that big a deal. So who do you think is the most important person to recast? They're all kind of important. I think that
they're all important.
I would say Martin Short's probably the least important.
Ned.
But I would say Steve Martin and Chevy are the 2 big names.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
But they're all great. So
I guess I would say Lucky Day, but Dusty Bottoms, you can make the argument too. It's hard. I mean, all 3 of them are. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard.
All right. So let's go in first. We'll start first with because it's my biggest kind of like difference of it's definitely recasting the role just because it's very different. But go ahead. Mm-hmm. So we're going to start off with Martin Short's character.
Ned Niederlander.
What's that?
Ned Niederlander.
Oh yeah. I thought you said an actor. I'm like, who the freaking hell is that?
Who's Ned Niederlander? No, that's the character.
No, I thought you said something else.
So for this one, I went. I had fun with this cast. I kind of mixed it up a little bit. I went with Kevin Hart for Ned Niederlander.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So we both did something very similar. Very similar.
I wanted a short guy, that's for sure.
Yeah, I did not pick a short guy.
I wanted a short, mouthy, funny guy, and I was like, that sounds like Kevin Hart.
It does. That is actually better casting than I did.
Okay.
I do like my cast though.
I like mine too, actually. I enjoyed this.
Mine, my Martin Short, Ned Niederlander, is Damon Wayans Jr.
Okay.
I think that he can do all those crazy, quirky things. You could have him. You know who you could have done? Martin Lawrence. You could also pick him.
Oh yeah, a little too old.
Who cares?
I guess
age doesn't matter.
I guess it doesn't.
Not in this.
I mean, how old were these guys when they made this movie?
But he's more sarcastically sharp-toned.
Right?
Like, what? Yeah.
They were all in their 40s, right?
I would assume so, yes.
Martin's probably in his 50s, but that's, yeah. I mean, he just pulled off, what? Fucking Bad Boys 8 or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So
listen, I don't care, man. Blue Streak is a tremendous movie.
It's a fantastic movie. He has a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah, he does.
All right. So now we'll go with Chevy Chase as Dusty Bottoms.
Dusty Bottoms.
Who do you have playing? I'll do mine first.
You go first. Yeah.
All right. Chevy Chase is Dusty Bottoms. I had originally I think his name is Timmy McPhail because he played him in a movie. But I decided not to, and I decided to go with Jason Sudeikis.
That's a good choice.
Because Jason Sudeikis,
I love Sudeikis.
Can do Pratt stuff if he wanted to. Because he is athletic, he can dance, he can do all those kind of funny, silly things.
Oh my God, Ted Lasso, the way he dances.
And he's got an amazing cadence. Like the way that he just
it's so great.
He can be very stoic and just kind of like sarcastic and quick, and he's amazing. So I think that would be the perfect cast for him.
He's low key good looking too.
Oh, he is. He's a good looking good.
You catch him in the right light.
Yeah. He's a good looking dude.
Man.
Sure.
He's a handsome man. He's got a hot wife too. I went for this role with Bill Hader.
That's good. You can't go wrong with Bill Hader. No. Bill Hader, I think, would be better a Lucky Day though.
Well,
I mean, my Lucky Day, I have one of my all-time favorite actors because I just think he could easily pull them off, and just recently proved that he can sing, which Steve Martin can sing a little. So yeah, go ahead. So I do like that though. Bill Hader that's a great.
Okay. My Lucky Day.
Well, let's do Lucky Day. Let's do it together.
Oh, okay, sure.
Ready? So Lucky Day on 3. We'll do 1, 2, 3, then boom.
Guys. Okay.
1, 2, 3, and then boom. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
1, 2, 3. Ryan Reynolds.
Michael Pena.
Oh, Michael Pena. That's a good one. I like that. That's good.
Nice, Ryan Reynolds. All right, you went big. Yeah, you went big.
I went big because he is a guy that I think could play Steve Martin in a movie.
Absolutely. He absolutely could. Yeah. I love Michael Pena. Like he makes me laugh.
He's hilarious.
I think he's just a funny guy. He's probably not a big enough star per se.
Oh, but he is, but he isn't. Like everybody knows him from being in Marvel and all these different kind of other movies.
Right.
Like, he was great. And what was that?
He was hilarious in Chips.
Oh, Chips was amazing.
Even though Chips was, I mean, I know it was a terribly panned movie, but it's funny.
Oh, it's funny. Movie.
I mean, him and Dax are great.
That's a
together.
funny movie. I don't care.
Actually, that would be funny if you put Dax in as like if he had been like Dusty Bottoms and you had Michael Pena as Lucky Day. That would have actually been funny because they're good together.
They are.
Those two are good together.
When you're a good actor, you're good with a lot of people.
Right. It doesn't
But
like, really matter.
But these three guys were all like at the top of their game at that point in time. So like, I tried to go bigger actors. I was trying to.
I did something special for you though. I did this just for you. I did a 3 Amigos. Cast, okay. Excellent. And I'll tell you real quick who they were
because they're doing that now. So yeah, might as well.
They are right.
They are. Well, no, they're doing things like that now. Like they have.
Are they doing one? I thought they were actually.
Maybe
so great if they actually did one.
But they do things like that. Like they had the Ocean's 8 or whatever it was that came out. Yeah. They're doing all like the female counterpart ones.
So I did. In no particular, I'm not tying any one of these actresses to any of the specific roles, but I did Tiffany Haddish.
Okay.
Because I love her.
She's funny.
I did Kate McKinnon.
I love Kate McKinnon.
And then this one's for you, Melissa Fumero from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, she's cute. Yeah.
She's super cute.
She's awesome. I love Brooklyn
She's super cute.
Nine-Nine!
The Nine-Nine's over.
Yeah.
It's done. I haven't watched the last episode yet. I got to watch it. The finale.
It was good. It was really good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to watch it.
It was sad Like, because there was some true emotion. Like, you could tell.
Yeah.
There is a scene, I'm telling you right now, you're going to cry. I almost did. A scene with Captain Holt and
Oh, no.
yeah. And Jake Peralta. There's a scene.
Oh, all right.
And you're going to be like, oh.
Yeah, probably. I'm sure I will.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
I'm an emotional train wreck, so I'm sure I will.
No, my eyes teared up. They did.
You got a little misty?
I got a little misty. If I blinked, they would have came out. It was good though. It was touching. So yeah, that was good. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. However you took it in, we appreciate it. Please give us a thumbs up, smash it, like it, wallop it, twerk on it. I don't care.
Rub it down.
Yeah. Don't lick it. This is COVID. Don't do that. Just hit the like button, smash it.
This is
it.
COVID.
Spank that like button, spank it. And subscribe. And you can find us on Twitter at Shane and Brian. You can find us on Facebook.com/Shane and the Brian. You can find me on Twitter at Einhornersfinkel.
You can find me on Twitter at _Brian_man. And we have reached the end of the show. And in the immortal words of Tony Stark, part of the journey is the end. But we will be back next Monday with a brand new episode. Oh, we have to spin the wheel real quick, right?
We will spin it another time.
Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have time. I got to leave 3 minutes ago.
You were too busy smacking it and flipping it and rubbing it down. You forgot to spin the wheel.
Yeah, I got to spin it. Maybe we'll spin it and do it a little thing, something or other. I don't know.
Stay classy,
right.
Planet Club.
Peace out, guys. Much love. Bye.
Cinnabros are coming back. One night only.
Oh.